Reiner brothers. Trump is evil like Hitler. Supporters are like Hitler, need to be targeted. Notice that's an article on Infowars.com. See, it's a talking point to target you, to get in your face, to kick you out of the restaurant. And you see the videos of white people being attacked, not even wearing red hats or Trump regalia, and saying, you voted Trump, you're going to get your ass kicked now. Everybody feels it at a gut level. You can also intellectually see it. But there's a train wreck, blindsided feeling, even though you know it's coming, when it's actually here. Maxine Waters, Donnie Deutsch, Wolf Blitzer having guests on saying, hey, the guy that shot Congressman Scalise wasn't a monster. He wanted to do something good for America. And Wolf Blitzer looks at him and nods his head and says, yeah. And that's their attitude, and that's who they are. And that's what they intend to do. And then you get Maxine Waters, that monstrous, corrupt woman that gave tens of millions to her own husband, his own bank, saying, let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up. And if you see, let's make sure we show up wherever we have to show up. And if you see anybody from the cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, like Reginald Denny, you get out and you create a crowd, just a mob. Hey, let's get them. And you push back on them. Wow. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore anywhere, she yelled out Saturday. And went on to say, target the supporters as well. And that's the new talking point. Remember last week I said, now you see the talking point, target the supporters. Now, the brown shirts for 6 years brought Hitler to power. And they went out and they intimidated people. And they beat them up and they shut them up. And you got a Nazi collaborator who was alive then with the Nazis, George Soros, who's quarterbacking much of this. He's kind of the starting pitcher, maybe is a better analogy. Because they got a lot of generals in their army. But he's one of the main ones. And they're using social engineering, and they're going ahead right now on every program and every show. The Reiner brothers, Trump is evil like Hitler. Supporters are like Hitler, need to be targeted. Notice that's an article on Infowars.com. See, it's a talking point to target you, to get in your face, to kick you out of the restaurant. And you see the videos of white people being attacked, not even wearing red hats or Trump regalia, and saying, you voted Trump, you're going to get your ass kicked now. And the media goes, oh, good. And CNN, when a reporter said, you know, it's wrong for whites to be attacked for being white, the black lady on CNN goes, oh, poor white people. See, so there's this whole racial base to it as well, and they're going into overdrive. So the big question is, how do we counter this, and what do we do about it? And I'll be talking about that more in the next segment. Then I'll go through a briefing of the news and the reports and kind of tie it all together. But they're making their move. And they're making their move in a big way. And you notice that even when Trump, who's been trying to get immigration reform passed, said, okay, well, we'll stop the practice. And the girl they claim was separated from her mother wasn't. And 80+% of the people don't have parents with them. But it doesn't matter. It's all about, we have the moral high ground. We're the good people. So we're going to come out and beat you up now. We're going to break the Border Patrol agent's leg in front of everybody this week as a mob ran over him as he was trying to make them not block a bus, taking illegal aliens who came here illegally to the facility. I mean, every other country in the world, you just show up and say, you try to show up in dangerous countries. You try to show up in third world countries and say, I'm just marching across your border. They'll lock your butt up so fast, they'll torture you. But you've got all these little spoiled babies that love to be on TV and love to feel sorry for themselves and all brought up in victim ideology and all the rest of it, loving it. Like a high school play they think they're in, to go out and scream and bitch and complain when, make no mistake, this is about bringing America down. It's about imploding the country. It's about getting rid of our borders right as the global depression hits, as Trump tries to stop the global depression, and collapsing all of these economies. And just saying we want totally open borders so that people fleeing what they were already in can experience what they fled here. And you ask, what's the point? It is to bring in a giant, undocumented mob that they can politically control, who are disenfranchised and only living on government handouts, who can be detonated as a political weapon anytime the globalist social engineers need them to. And that's what you're seeing here is the future of this country being ruled by unruly mobs that are kept disenfranchised and that are given chips on their shoulders and that are basically brainwashed and inducted into the universities to become the new handlers of the permanent underclass. And the exact same thing is being done in Europe, with 80% of the 10 million Muslims they just brought in being military-age men, and 90+% of them in major studies 3-4 years after they get to Europe still don't have jobs and are on welfare. Because the government will deport you if you actually get a job in Europe or you actually become productive. If you stay on welfare in your ghetto, baby, you're golden. And so you're watching the real assault on this country. It's real. Now, we've got incredible footage and incredible breakdowns coming up. Watch as hundreds of migrants storm Croatian border fence screaming Allah Akbar. It is all coming up. And again, Albania's Muslim. It's already taken over much of Serbia, and it wants Macedonia. It wants everything. And again, I'm not even against Muslims themselves, but they're being used with their population doubling as a political weapon to, again, collapse Europe, collapse Asia. This is all mega corporations playing this game out. This is the New World War you're witnessing. And it creates civil wars inside. So it's all on Infowars.com, Newswars.com, EuropeWars.com has incredible coverage of all this on the ground in Europe with our reporters, Dan Lyman and others. But when we come back, I'm going to get to a bunch of angles of this I haven't covered, and I'm going to basically brief the president on what he already knows and brief the public and talk about what are we going to do to counter this and what are we going to do to respond to this. But when you have organized groups trying to foment violent revolution against random individuals just because they're Republican Party voters, that's the classic definition of racketeering, civil rights violation, and is the KKK on steroids and must be met with law enforcement response. And that's what I'm saying is this needs to be dealt with.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Extendawise, the latest product from InfoWarsLife.com, fuses all the known compounds that have been proven to be good for our hearts and cardiovascular system. And listen, everybody's got a heart. Well, actually, maybe Hillary and George Soros don't, but everybody else has a heart, and this product is amazing. So, if you have a heart and you want the very best product out there that's designed to aid a healthy heart and cardiovascular system, it's Extendawise, available at InfoWarsLife.com. And like all of our products are game changers, this baby is the most souped up, awesome version the top formulators could come up with and still be affordable. It's one of the very best heart pills out there. It's Extendawise. So get some for yourself and family and friends. It's got the very best fish oil from the fjords. It's very, very pure, very, very clean, and has the EPA type that is specifically good for the heart, cardiovascular system. It's got the properly formulated type of CoQ10 and more. It is Extendawise, now available at InfoWarsLife.com.